Hi, Keith Harrington here, KQ4FXD, Kilo Quebec 4 Foxtrot X-Ray Delta. You will learn that. Okay, let's get into something here. I've been asked several times from different people, what do I do to get into ham radio? And of course, they ask the question, what is ham radio and what makes it better than anything else? Well, it doesn't necessarily make it better. Ham radio, of course, like I've covered in some videos, is another form of communication. Of course, you got your cell phones and what have you, but ham radio is, when all else fails, ham radio is there. It's available, and it'll work when nothing else will. So anyway, with that being said, let's get into the questions that I've been asked. I was asked, what do I need to do to get into ham radio? Well, first thing you have to do, you have to pass a test. Okay, the first test that you will have to test will be one called technician, with technician class license. That's the one you'll start out with. You have to pass this before you can move on to anything else. Okay, so this is your first test you'll have to take. And there's many books out there for technician class license, and there's several. I've read through most of these, not all of it, but I've read through most of them. But I will tell you, if you're not the kind of person that really understands or wants to get into a lot of the stuff that's involved in ham radio, there's a lot of things you may not want to get into. You might just want to get on there and talk and meet new people. And if that's what you want to do, you can do it quickly, get your technician license, and you can get on there and chat with other people and get on the repeaters in your area and talk to other people. And that's something you can do fairly quickly. What I don't want to see happen is you buy one of these books and then start reading through these books and say, oh my goodness, I can't learn all that stuff. And get overwhelmed and say, nah, not for me. If you want to just get in and talk and enjoy the hobby, then start with the technician license, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that without having to go through all these books and get yourself overwhelmed and quit before you even get started. Okay, there's several ways you can do it. One is you can join hamradioprep.com, which I did. I got into that. That's when I first got my technician license. I started reading the books and said, well, I like to find something that's maybe a little more friendly, or may keep my interest a little bit better and help me to learn more of the information I need to know. And I got into hamradio.prep. There is a fee. Good course, very good course. I'm not gonna knock it down. The only thing with most people, depending on how deep you want to get into the hobby, it may be overwhelming to get into some of these videos and some of these classes where things just get overwhelming. And I don't want to see that happen to you. I want to see you get into the hobby, enjoy the hobby, and start out in it first and kind of get your feet wet, and then move on from there. The other one is, what I have over here is called hamstudy.org. Hamstudy.org is a fantastic program also. And what's nice about it over anything else, it's free. It doesn't cost you a dime. It covers the same material as it does over here. It doesn't have the video content. You have more a study content where you go in and it pulls up the question that, well, it actually has an area that you can study and learn the information, so you know the information. So when a question does come up, you'll better understand what the correct answer will be for that. The other way you can do it, which a lot of people are doing, which I was not aware of till later, is they get into these courses, hamstudy.org, and you actually have the question that it pops up on the screen, and it's all multiple choice, and it covers everything that'll be on your test. So on your test, you're going to have multiple questions in each section of the test. You only have 35 questions that will be asked you over whole content of information. So if you learn it all, or at least look at the question that's going to be asked you and know the answer, then you should be able to pass the test and then move on into the hobby, and then later move on into your general and extra and so forth. So hamstudy.org is the best way to get into this. You'll get the question will come up. You'll get all the answers, multiple choice answers. If you get them wrong, remember the correct answer. You can go back and look at see what the correct answer was for that. And it'll come back around and ask you that question again. And as it comes around, you read that question and say, the answer is that. And once you understand it and remember it, then you can pass the test. I didn't do that, so I had a little bit more trouble. So needless to say, I learned later on in the game how to make this a whole lot easier. And once you're in the hobby, all that stuff's gonna come to you, especially if you get into it as deep as I am. When you start getting to building antennas and understanding antenna links and frequencies, and understand all your components and circuitry and all that kind of stuff, which comes in later. It doesn't come in as heavy on technician license, but it does when you get into general and extra. Yeah, you're gonna get into some of that stuff a lot more. So if that's not something you want to do, you may not want to go on to those next levels. But anyway, the way to pass the test, so you can at least go in and start using those frequencies, is to get a program like hamstudy.org. I pull out my phone and I can study on my phone. So there's things you can do. So there's a lot of things you can do with one of these courses where you can start understanding the information. And then as you understand it, say, that makes sense. Don't get overwhelmed, but go out and buy these books, which we did. My wife, she actually bought this book right here, and she started studying it. I think it was just one of these technician class books. I don't remember which one it was, but she got one of these books and started reading it and studying it, and she got into it pretty deep because she thought she could learn it better by reading the book. No. You start looking at the book and you get overwhelmed and you say, I can't do this, and you quit. Don't do that. The hobby's really fun, and it's an enjoyable hobby, and you'll like it once you get into it. Don't cram into one of these books unless you're really into reading, and you're not going to get turned away from reading the text, because the text gets into some pretty deep stuff, and it could be overwhelming to you. And if you don't have any electronic or engineering or what have you background, you may get overwhelmed and you'll talk yourself out of it. So don't do that. hamstudy.org, or you can go ahead and get this one here, ham radio prep. That's it in a nutshell. I don't want to bore you with a lot of other stuff, but if you want to get into ham radio, that's the way to go to learn it, pass your test, and then get into the hobby. One thing I will tell you, with the world the way it is, I'm not wishing anything bad or saying anything could happen, but when all else fails, if everything goes, and I'm sounding like a prepper, and I don't mean to do that, but if things get bad, we're for whatever reason satellites go down, or you lose communications and cell phone for whatever reason, something bad happens, China hits us with whatever. I mean, it could happen. But anyway, whatever happens, you always have ham radio. Ham radio will communicate when nothing else will. So anyway, keep that in mind. And if nothing else, the hobby's fun. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Of course, I like to build my own antennas, and I like to build gadgets and what have you. That's me. You may just want to get out there and talk. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. So get into the hobby, pass the technician license, get that passed, and get your license, and get into the hobby and meet some other people and see if you like it. And I think you will. So come to one of our club meetings and see if you like it, and talk to some of the members. They'll give you a lot of information. Anyway, thanks for watching. 73s, have a great day.